The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host Ranmay here. And today we have Roxanne Alaniz, who is the founder and CEO of Alaniz Marketing with us. Hey,
Yeah.
Roxanne, how's it going?
Wonderful. It's so great to be here. And I always love talking about marketing. So I'm excited.
Lovely. First of all, let's get to know you more. You love marketing, like we were talking about it earlier. How did you land up in the marketing space, Roxanne? Just give us a bit about your journey this far.
Sure. It's funny because when I went to school at Berkeley, I wanted to be a business owner. That's what I thought. I'm going to be a business owner. And they they had a undergrad business degree. So I didn't have to go to college for 4 years and then get an MBA. I could get a business degree. So I was very excited about that. And then my first year, it was horrible. It was all accounting. And I was like, this is business? This is not any business I want to be in. Too much accounting. So I took the summer to really understand, like, what do I want to do and what do I love? And I discovered mass communications. And mass communications is the study of all advertising and communications and brand and marketing. I fell in love with it then. And it's always been throughout all my different experiences and career. And worked for ABC Disney, was in media and selling media. About 2007, I decided I was ready to go off on my own. And I felt I could bring much more value to clients, consulting them on all of their marketing, because what I found out was I was consulting them, but then I was trying to sell them on radio or TV or something very straight that maybe was a fit or not fit. And it didn't feel right because maybe that's not what they needed. And internet was up and coming. There was these things called websites that were popping up. So I thought much better for me to be on that side of really helping clients holistically grow their business. And then, of course, I started in 2008. 2008 was like the disaster economy. I was fortunate to leave with a client, and that worked for the first year. Well, business slowly started to come back. The advantage, I think, was unfortunately, for a lot of companies, they got rid of their marketing departments. And in the aftermath, there might be one marketing person who had to handle everything. So it was actually a perfect time to start a marketing company. And I've never looked back.
In hindsight, yes.
Yes, in hindsight, But I love it. And I think that's part of when you become a business owner, you must always be aware of the economy and everything that's going on. And you create, you adjust, you pivot. We see that happening when social media got really big and you needed to adjust to that. Websites became dominant and you had to adjust to that. Advertising on the internet became more popular than advertising analog, like traditional media. And now here we are dealing with AI. So it's just our business is always evolving. And we become the experts and who companies rely on, because they don't have time to do all this research. They're relying on us to know and guide them.
Absolutely. And, we also started our business around the same time. So not easy times for sure, I can tell you that. But yes, accounting is something that you really love, like you said. But initially, when you start your own business, you have to wear multiple hats, like creating a team, let's say hiring HR, human resources, keeping the books, accounting, finance, and again, taking care of the deliverables, the operations, getting the first few clients, sales. So you kind of are wearing multiple hats, right? So how difficult was it? What were the challenges when you initially kind of started your agency? And what is that piece of advice you'd want to give to the young generation who is kind of, now
thinking about starting a business? So thank goodness for those accounting classes. So I hated them when I took them, but I know how to read a profit and loss statement. I understand a balance sheet. I understand cash flow statements, projections. Those are really important things. I think that one of the biggest mistakes I made and didn't learn until years later is the understanding of how to cost things, how to charge for when you're a solopreneur. It's really easy. You just charge for your time. or you estimate how long something's going to be, and you come up with a fee. But when you start to have employees, an employee, when you add their taxes, and I'm in California, so it's very expensive to have an employee, and then the utilization, and then you add the costs if you have an office or computers or whatever, it could be 1.5 times the salary that you're paying somebody, or 1.5 times the hourly.
Yeah.
I never did that. And so after years of not necessarily being as profitable as I would like to be, you start to wonder, what am I doing wrong? I think I'm charging correctly. I came from sales. I never had a problem selling clients and retaining clients. That's probably one area I think that a lot of businesses suffer in. So if you're good at something that's creative, you should partner with somebody who's really good in sales. So that's another piece of advice. For me, I didn't worry about that too much, but the operations side was not something I enjoyed and wanted to. So I ended up partnering with my partner, my husband. So he said he wants to do operations. I'm like, great, you do operations. And then years later, we would, hit a ceiling and then fall, hit a ceiling and fall. We ended up finding a mastermind called Pinnacle Global Network and joined that because Allison has a book called Scale or Fail, I think it is. And she talks about the pillars of growing a business. And one of the things I can say for young people who are starting out, read about how to run a business and grow a business. Because it's actually really different than doing the thing that you love for people. It's a completely different thing. Growing a business, running a business is very different than using your talent to, get clients and things like that. So those are the things I wish I had known earlier, because I could have saved myself years of challenges and grief.
But that is a fun part, you learn the ropes.
Well, you
as
learn, yeah. It
go
makes you a
through the
better
time.
person. You create a lot of character.
Yeah, absolutely. You become a tough nut to crack, through all these years of grind that you go through while building your business, right? I mean,
Right.
there's only so much that a B school or a management school in the classroom can teach you, right? But when you actually
You
do your
won't
own
learn it.
business,
You won't learn it in school. When I said to go get
Yeah.
that information, it's not at school.
Yeah.
Hire a mentor, find a book, join a group. They're out there. Be around other business people. That is the absolute best way to be around other business people. And that was one of the things we liked about the mastermind. And then you can cry on each other's shoulder together, but you can help each other, because everyone you're talking to has either gone through a challenge or is going through a challenge and has some ideas of a solution, which is much more meaningful. You will not get that in school. I love college. I value education, but it doesn't teach you everything. If you love to learn, you'll be okay. You just keep seeking knowledge. We are living in the informational state. Like, you can get any information. You can go to ChatGPT and say, I want to start a business. Give me a plan. And it'll do it, and it'll be pretty good. So then you take that and go to a business person and say, what do you think about this? Does this look good? So yeah, I think this is a great time to be starting a business. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? I mean, talking about ChatGPT on this, I have a teammate who's a Polish person, right? And she understands English. Now, there was this email that she wrote to a client, and I was not able to get it because I do not understand Polish. And I was like, tell me what this exactly means. She was like thinking about the English word for that particular Polish thing. And I put it on ChatGPT, and she goes, yeah, this is the word I was thinking, but I could not kind of say it, right? So that is how quick, you have gotten, right? Someone who's native understands both the languages, but you're dependent on, tech or ChatGPT or whatever we want to call it to kind of, rephrase that information for you. So, Perfect, talking about mentors, since you mentioned about it,
Yes.
Alaniz has been recognized as a top biopic, right? A women-owned business. So what are 3 strategic bets, you really made early that paid off in terms of your overall brand authority and credibility?
You mean for as far as joining groups, or?
I mean, you as a business.
As mentoring people?
So you as a business starting out, what are the top 3 strategic, bets or, kind of strategy decisions that you took that really worked out for your agency?
It's always a good question, right? The strategies, I think, it came later in the business because I think joining the mastermind was probably one of the best things I could have done. And so why did it take me so long to do that? I think because we were talking about being a woman in business, you tend to, it's common, but as a woman, like I just want to do everything on my own. I want to figure it out and nobody can really help me. I think it's been one of those things that we just have to work harder to be acknowledged in a male-dominated world. So I never sought help, and it seemed like a weakness, not a strength. And it just took me a long time to realize, no, the strength is actually in asking for help. I think Simon Sinek said it the best, where he talked about there's no way he could achieve anything had he not asked for help and not been vulnerable and said, I can't do this alone. I need to get help. And that is not an easy thing for a woman, me as a woman, to do. So I think that's why it took me so long. Once I did it, I was like, this is great. And then I started to realize that you can lean into coaching, you can lean into memberships, you can join organizations and groups, and each one, creates a benefit and a network for you. If you're a solopreneur, it can be very lonely. So I think it's really essential to have some type of a network that you can lean into. So I'd say the number one strategy is ask for help. Be vulnerable and ask for help. That's probably a theme that should be for all business owners.
Absolutely. Talking about your agency, Roxanne, what's your framework for, kind of positioning your agency as in a hyper-saturated market like, the agency business is, how do you kind of position yourself? How do you distinguish yourself in such a hypersaturated market without sounding like, like just another shop?
Right. And also I think early in my career, somebody said I was a 360. I do everything, right? And back then that seemed a cool thing. I think I started out coming from the media background. I started out really talking about different media and what is the best way to expand your business, your market, your brand, your message. Every person I would talk to said, oh, that sounds really good. I want to work with you, but I need a website first. That's the era in 08 and 09. It's like everybody wanted a website. And I remember coming back to the office because I do all the business development. I came to my partner and I slapped down an invoice and I said, we're building websites. And he's like, what? How it started. I said, I can't sell anything because people say they want a website first. So we're going to start offering that as a service and we're going to build websites. And that started our journey. And it started the journey in really leaning into becoming a full service digital marketing firm. And as we did that, what I learned is that you get into digital marketing, it's changing all the time. So it's good to love education because you're constantly learning. The website technology change, SEO change, social media changes, everything keeps evolving. There was the backlinks. Everybody used to talk about backlinks. And there was something called black hat. I remember that. And it's like you had black hat versus white hat. And so it's just evolved so much. Now we're dealing with cybersecurity. And again, now you have AI. So it's like it's always evolving. What we have evolved with it, but I would have to say today, we have, especially after COVID, everything changes well. We're a marketing firm that focuses on a company's brand and messaging as it relates to their growth and bringing in more business. So most companies that hire us are business to business, and they're looking to increase their revenue and they want to grow. And some are limited, some don't know how, some know how, but they just need help. So everyone's at different stages, whether a small business or enterprise. And so we come in and we offer that strategy to best help them. Sometimes it means we have to redo their brand, redo their messaging, help them become an authority, rework their website. The website's the hub of everything. And people like to go check out the website before they buy. So your website better be informative. And the term sticky still exists. And that is it a converting site? When somebody visits, do they hang out, find what they're looking for, read other things, get engaged, and then download something or ask for a meeting or a demo? That's how the website should be working. If it's not, you're losing a lot of business. So it's really the core. And so I would say that we are now positioned as that strategist and consultant to help design things And then we work with specialists because we understand to be really good, we can't be good at everything.
Yeah.
So we lean into that. We're very transparent about it. We'll tell our clients, we'll do what we can to get you to one point. But then if you need unique, especially whether it's SEO or PR or even certain elements of social media, we like to partner up with people because they're specialists at what they do. So back to when we started and people used to say we're 360. We're not. We want to niche into a particular service. And when you niche into a service, into an industry, you become more valuable. So that's the other piece of advice too. If anybody's doing marketing and any kind of service, find out what your niche is. And it feels hard to niche because you think you're excluding business, but you're not. You're actually really helping the audience understand what you're good at, which is really important. And so we have continued on with that niche. And now we have a whole nother division called Alaniz Health, Alaniz.health. And it's just specific to healthcare, research, clinical research, and pharmaceutical. But we drill it down even more we help with reaching underserved, underrepresented populations in America. Very niche. So if you're looking for that, we're the agency to do that. And it's amazing how successful it's been in a short period of time, and it's because we've niched in. So it's helping the consumer or your potential client really understand what you can do for them before they even get to talk to you.
Absolutely. I mean, we also believe in the fundamental of niching down to scale up,
Yes.
so that you're kind of, specialist in something. You're not ideally be wanting to do everything under the sun, right?
Yeah.
It kind of kills the idea of you being specialist at something. So I kind of completely agree with that, Roxanne. Great. Yeah, this has been a great conversation. But before we let you go, for our audiences, what is that one thing that now you're a successful business owner, right? But you've started out, you would have had your ups and downs. So what is that one piece, you'd actually kind of would want to go back and change in your business journey so far?
I think going back from the very beginning and understanding how to ask for help and get the right network around me and niche down.
All right. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a great and a fun conversation. For our audiences, again, if they want to reach out to you, how would they do that?
They can reach out to me directly, Roxanne at Alaniz Marketing. That's great. Happy to answer any questions. And especially if people are thinking about where they're at right now and growing their business and they want to run something by me or ask a question. I mean, I think that it's really important to just give back. I've got 30 years of experience. Happy to provide some advice.
Lovely. Thank you, Roxanne. Cheers.
Great. Okay. Thanks.